Hello guys, this is going to be a quick video on CSS. In the previous video we looked at HTML and we said each and every HTML file will have these containers, and these containers are called tags, right? And we have two basic tags of which goes under the a head tag and a body tag. And we said a body tag, it will be actually everything that I write and then it shows up on the browser. For example, if I were to write hi here, everything that we write under the body tag, it will show there, and everything that we write under the head tag, it will be used by the browser. Okay, so let's get started without wasting any time. So okay, we looked at HTML. We said HTML, if this website was a body, a human body, HTML, it will be the skeleton, and the CSS, it will be the flesh that covers the skeleton, right? So it will be the flesh that gives it the looks and everything. So let's look at it in details. So first of all, for example, if you look at this text that I wrote here, this hi, it's contained under the body. What you would want to do is to put it under its own tag, so that you can use that tag to style it. For example, I'll put it maybe under the paragraph tag and say hi here, right, like this. Okay, so the first thing that we might want to do with this, let me just go to this, press F12 in your computer. You see here we have this margin of 12, right? The body has this style of margin 12. So let's start by canceling that first and make sure that everything is 0. And the way you would do that is to go under your head tag and write style and press tab, and there you can call each and every tag, right? Like this body tag, if you want to style body, and say body, and then give it a style. So in this case we want margin to be 0, right? So what this will do here, you see there's a space on top and on the sides, so it will cancel that space. Okay, so as you can see right now, when I say this, and the only space that is there, it's because of this p tag, it's not because of the body. So if I were to change this p tag and make it a div, because a p tag comes with a default margin, so if you make this a div, that space around, this top space and bottom, this should be gone by now. You see, now this is at the corner there with no padding, no margin. Okay, so a p tag and those h1 h2 tags, they come with a default margin, so they are good if we wanted to write headings and paragraphs, So let's see how to style this further. So if I want to style this, I can write it here. I can write style here, for example, say color here, and make it green, and refresh our browser. So now, as you can see, now the text is green. All right, or I can do what I did before here under this style here, and just call the element that contains the content, like this, the div, right, and say color. Let's make it blue this time, blue. All right, as you can see now the color is blue, right? So however, as you can see then, if I create another element with a div and say Peter, let's just write Peter on this one. Peter also will be blue because why? Because here when we are styling each and every div. So sometimes, in most cases, in fact, that's what you are not going to you won't want. So you don't want to color everything with one color, you know. You would want to change styles. So in order for you to do that, you'll have to name your containers, right? So for example, I can say, and if it's unique, it's only we give it an ID. So right, so let's say this is what greeting, right? So if we give it an ID like that, and here when we style here for an ID, we will use what, this hashtag and then the name of the ID, right? So this should style only the first element, right, the one with greeting, so which means it's high, but it won't style Peter because we are not styling the whole div. We are only styling the element that contains this ID. Okay, and one thing about IDs, you give them to unique stuff, you know, unique elements, and if those elements are grouped, all of they are grouped, they are unique, but in a group format, you use what we call classes. So let's create another element here, maybe a Peter this time, and say so yes, as you can see, my name is David. That's this P tag here, right? So if I want to style this to, if I want this to contain the very same style as this one, like the color, then what I can do is to give these two elements, give this one and that one a class. Yeah, you know, so this class, let's call it what, we can call it anything. For now I'll call it me, right? So here also with the class and call it me, and the name, the way you style a class, you start with a dot like this, you dot me instead of a hashtag, you start with the dot. So let's make a color here, let's make it blue, green, let's take green, right? So let's cancel this greeting thing. So what this is going to do is going to color this, the high, and also color my name is David with this green color. So let's do that. Let's see. All right, so that's it, right? So we can change many things about this, maybe change the font size. I mean, no, if we want this width to be small or bigger, let's just say 50 pixel. No, okay, wait, let me see what happened. All right, okay, you probably have done something here, so let me see. So if we want to change the font size of this, yes, the font size, let's make it 100 pixel. Okay, so you can see now the fonts are much more bigger than before. You can even make them 10 or 20 pixel, which means they become small, and you can even go smaller, like 10, you know. And for average text, normally we use 16, you know, 16, 17, 18 there. So those ones are fine. No. Well, okay, let's look at other things. Okay, so first of all, these p tag and the div tag, they are a block thing, right? So if you were to say border, right, and say theme, solid, the style must be solid, and then say black, right? This will show us the border of that p tag of this my name is something, and you see this, it covers the whole screen like this, right? And we can also look at what in fact, let's just yeah, and also look at these divs, you know, these divs, let's look at them. Also there we can solid, gray, you know. So these two were divs. So as you can see, they cover the whole screen. What does that mean? It means they are block text, you know. Their display mode, it's a block, so you can actually decrease that. You can make them inline, meaning that you want this border to end here at the end of your content, whether it's your text or whatever it is, right? So the way you would do that, you say, for example, for the divs, you can come here and say display, instead of block, you make it an inline, right? An inline block. So this will mean this will end there, and as you can see now, right, this is what we have. So for those two divs, number 1 and 2, we did that. The paragraph tag is still a block tag, okay? So we're gonna use a lot of that. So here I'm just covering the basics of these things, you know, how to change an inline and whatnot. So we now what you would want to do in most cases is to take whatever styles that we have for our program and store these things outside, you know. Store these styles outside of this file and just link them to this original file. And the way you do that, okay, just copy everything here and put it on a separate file here like that, okay, and save this and call it style, for example, dot. This is no longer HTML but it's .css, right? So I'm storing this on desktop because my file is on desktop, so I'm putting everything on desktop then, and just save it there. All right, so I have to link it to this file. Let's cancel everything here. So if I cancel all those kind of stuffs, they will cancel all those styles for our document, you know. So if you refresh this, as you can see, this went back to the normal. So now I have to link these to that style sheet. All right, so what I did is just to type link and then press tab, and the program that we installed last time on this Sublime Text, the emit, will complete everything for you, right? So here under the href, it's where you define your path for where this file is, you know. So the full path to that. So right now it's on a desktop, that's where it is, and the name of it is style.css. So if you did that, our style should come back now, you know. Now those styles are included back into our file. And yes, that's how we include our CSS styles, okay? So similarly, that's how we're gonna include our JavaScript files and so on. But you're gonna learn more of this as we go through and do practical examples while building other stuffs if you are a beginner, you know. So don't worry about that. For now, just get these basics, okay? And one more thing that I want to explain here is that normally when you are looking at the website, let's just visit any website. Yeah, let's just visit my website, for example, Inetech. Okay, so normally when you are looking at the website, you would see that at the top, okay, the internet is the bad, it's not so strong. Okay, let's let it load. So as you can see here at the top, you would have this, and this is what we call a navigation, right? This part at the top, and its element for HTML5, it's nav. So we're gonna do that. We put it under the navigation, right? It has its own tag, and everything that lies underneath that, all these kind of stuffs here, right, they will fall under main, right? They'll fall under main. We'll have what we call our main tag, and the last one is this last part here. All these stuffs that are here, it's what we call a footer. They will fall under our footer, all right? And again, to autocomplete, I'm just writing the name of the tag and pressing